All right. One of my favorite exercises of all, the core values exercise. Core values exercise is gonna serve you as a compass in life. How you gonna navigate this life is if again you don't have an arrow that always constantly pointing straight. So this is something we're gonna do, and we're just gonna take a look. We're just gonna take a look at the workbook, right? So in the future state, you can see all these different exercises, but let's take a look at the core values exercise. We're gonna start with this. There are different ways that you can go about it. Well, number one way, and the most effective way, to be honest, is just very organic. It's a conversational. Do it with the coach, right? I'm gonna be in a session. We're gonna sit down. I'm gonna ask you these questions. What's important to you? What's important to you? And through understanding what's important to you, right? I am the chat GPT basically. I get the input, I synthesize it, and I crystallize it and give it back in a very polished way, like guiding people to what's important. We can go from the opposite side. What annoys you? Like by listening to all this stuff that you cannot tolerate in your life, I understand what are the anti-values and what are the values, like working from the opposite. If you do not work with the coach, if you're not ready or you cannot invest right now, you can do the same thing with the AI. Very simple steps. Open ChatGPT, ask yourself a question, just type it down. What is truly important to me? Write it all down, and just you puke it all out. You just release a stream of consciousness, everything you need, nothing, no particular order. And then once you send it out, it will spit out some kind of list for you, right? So you can take this organized list and work on that for already, like put all the things like what's important to you and what annoys you. There is again another way to do it, to go about it. There is an article, you can read through it, but there are different templates. For example, I have a card deck, and with all the values written on them. We would sit down, and something I can also do with my clients, I would give them the cards, and they would just sort it out, and they would say like, oh, these are my core values, and we can work from there. You can do the same thing, but just using list of personal values, right? You can use it here. It's in the article, or you can Google some stuff, or alternatively, you can generate templates for yourself. Here are different steps to how you can approach this. Step number one, you generate a list. ChatGPT, hey ChatGPT, generate a list of 50 core values, personal values, and I want to choose, and I will eliminate the ones that do not resonate with me. It spits out a list. You sift through it. You discard everything that doesn't resonate. You leave and like, okay, these values resonate with me. I leave the list. Generate, 25 more, and you go through this process iteratively as many times as you need until you land on the on the set of probably like 6, 8, 10 core values, right? And you say like, I have eliminated all the core values, and I have excuse me, I have discovered that my core values are Next step, generate definitions for these values, right? And that is the next phase. Next phase is to define your values. You need to understand what every word, what every core value means specifically to you. What does it resonate? How does it resonate with you? Freedom. If my core value is freedom, what does it mean to me? What I want to work on, whatever I want, wherever I want, with whomever I want, whenever I want, full remote, full flexibility, right? What does money mean to me? What does wisdom mean to me? Every core value, work through it and build your set of definitions, right? And in case, again, you're struggling with your definitions, leverage AI, right? I'm working and I have a core value of spirituality. I understand it's important to me, but I cannot really define it. Generate some potential definitions, right? And ideas, and work out of that content. Next phase is you translate these values into guiding principles. What is a guiding principle? Guiding principle, you're gonna read through all this stuff, right? But guiding principle is practically just a simple anchor, like a simple punchy phrase that you can memorize and you can always return to remind yourself, like, these are my core value. Here are some examples, right, of guiding principles that I utilize. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. Talking about work ethic. Nothing matters, everything matters. Wisdom. If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. Decision making, right? This is very important. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. I'm big on systems, I'm not big on goals, right? And I believe that systems carry you to your self-actualization. If you don't prioritize your life, someone else will. You build the agenda for yourself. Discipline is freedom. So you get it, right? We're not gonna go in detail here. I just want to share, like, here's a prompt, right? I want to create a set of guiding principles for myself. This is my core values. Generate examples. And it doesn't mean that the ChatGPT will give you your guiding principles, that it will give you some inspiration, some kind of thoughts on the matter. Lastly, yes, self-awareness is the first step. We understand our core values. We understand how they all work in one system. You can visualize them, you can map them out, you can define them, you can build the guiding principles, but then you build the actual system, right? What does that mean? A repeatable daily system. So you take a calendar and you block the time on your calendar where you leave your values. When you take your value, how does it translate in a particular activity? If I value health and energy, how do I have a block of time when I generate health and energy, stretching, exercise, flexibility, and stuff? If I value growth and learning, do I have a block of time when I study something? If I value connectedness, well, connectedness is a habit. Do I have a block of time when I connect with other humans, exchange ideas, grow my network, etc.? Here's a little model that I could share with you. It's called 4 quarters model, but it's looking at your day like as a game, right? You have 4 quarters, and in every quarter you play. So this is an example. I break it down from like 4 hours quarters, from 5 to 9, from 9 to, we probably can double click on this. Yeah, from 5 to 9, from 9 to 1, from 1 to 5, and from 5 to 8, right? 4 quarters. You wake up, you win the first quarter. By the time normal humans start at 9 a.m., you already won the day. And then you do the second quarter, third quarter, and then you move on. Like, so this is just an example. You can do it the way you want, but this is an idea that you should not have empty space. If it's a relaxation, you can see like 9 to 10, there's a block of calm. Turn off the screen, meditate, stretch, relax, read books, right? Stuff like that. So again, if you want some inspiration, leverage AI. I want to understand how to live my values, right? And how to block, generate some ideas of how I can integrate my values into my calendar. If it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist. If it doesn't exist, you're not living it. So think about this. Think about the concept of non-zero day, or so-called MVD, minimum viable day. What are the minimum things, minimum blocks of time dedicated to certain activities that must exist in your day, so that you can, by the end of the day, check all the boxes and say, like, today was a day well lived, and you can go to sleep with satisfaction. There's a lot of stuff to do, lots of content, lots of different approaches, and maybe experiment with this stuff. But let me know, what are your core values? And once you set the compass, it will gonna be easy to find a direction in life. Good luck.